What's up, gamers? It's Absurd here, and I'm still a little under the weather, but I wanted to share my take on this Armored Souls controversy concerning the hard lock, turn speed, repaired kits, and more. But before getting into that, I want to share with you why I first fell in love with Armored Core 25 years ago. I played Armored Core on PlayStation in the late 90s. While I was first introduced to mecha fantasy by my stepdad in his Battletech miniatures, this first Armored Core game, despite being third person, made me feel like I was in the cockpit of a war machine. Much like Gran Turismo simulated being a race car driver with its heads-up display and garage system, Armored Core simulated piloting a bulky mech. Despite having humanoid design, Armored Cores did not move or behave anything like a human, or even the other humanoid models from other games. There was a distinct feeling of controlling a heavy machine with its slow turn speed, weighty momentum, and overwhelming HUD. More than that, Armored Core made me feel like a mercenary. As a kid with an immature concept of money, it showed me I could make more money by doing a job well. Balancing repair and ammo expenses against my success in missions made me feel like my actions had consequences. If I failed a mission, I didn't get paid, and I still had to cover the cost of my ammo and repairs. Additionally, failing a mission or delaying too long in accepting it could make the mission unavailable to me in the future. These features made the world feel real. The game was treating me like a freelance fighter pilot trying to make a living. Fast forward to 2023 in Armored Core 6, a title long awaited by Armored Core fans. What has some of those fans in a twist right now is that the new gameplay footage demonstrates meaningful changes to the fantasy that AC veterans like me fell in love with over the last 25 years. First, I want to reiterate the fantasy of being a mercenary that 8-year-old Absurd fell in love with. That feeling was tied to the consequences of actions. Every bullet sent down range and every attack that you didn't evade had a financial impact on your playthrough. You had to gamble on a build before each mission, gamble that it would be enough to sustain through to the objective, and succeed despite any curveballs the game might throw at you. The complaints I've seen pertaining to the repair kits and the mid-mission garage revolve around this core idea of consequences for actions. What I haven't seen mentioned is the lack of ammo price on the assembly screen for the missile weapons in the demo, which in addition to the repair kits, suggests that ammo and health may no longer carry a financial consequence like they historically have in Armored Core. The days of passing a mission with a net loss of credits could be behind us, for better or for worse. The inclusion of mission checkpoints and mid-mission garage access also diminishes the consequences of your actions as a mercenary in that you no longer have to tailor builds to the mission, and it doesn't seem like you can fail missions anymore. In previous titles, if you failed a mission, you made no money, still had to cover the expenses, and sometimes wouldn't even get another shot at the same mission. But that made it feel like playing a mercenary, taking a gamble on your build in a tough mission because you need the credits for a new part or to get out of debt, the whole time knowing that you could lose it all if you didn't perform well. Is it disappointing to be losing that? Yes, but this is FromSoft we're talking about. They make tough games with consequences. We may be losing some of that nostalgic design and fantasy, but there's no way we are losing consequences altogether. While I don't really appreciate the fantasy of a mech using an instant heal repair kit, introducing them to the game creates a new gameplay loop for consequences and skill expression. Deciding when to use those repair kits from moment to moment and timing an input for a clutch heal is exciting gameplay. Using repair kits could also incur further consequence by affecting mission ranking, a system which graded your performance on a mission by calculating the cost of your ammo expenditure and damage taken, and sometimes the completion of side objectives. With the inclusion of repair kits, checkpoints, mid-mission garage, and the apparent move away from ammo costs, the system is going to need a big overhaul in Armored Core 6. The replayability and feeling of accomplishment in Armored Core games has become tied to the mission performance rankings for many players. The new design direction in Fires of Rubicon is ripe with potential for grading performance based on number of deaths, number of heals used, and number of build changes in the garage during a mission. While I love to speculate, it's just impossible to tell what this will mean for the game, but I think there needs to be more trust put in From Software's decisions. I may not like the idea of repair kits, but I trust the design choice. I also look forward to attempting no repair runs to satisfy my personal fantasy. One of the other major complaints I've seen is the apparent turn speed, or lack thereof, in the new gameplay footage. This clip here shows an AC making a near instant 90-degree turn without the use of boosters, which looks more like a fluid facing maneuver performed by a human rather than a humongous mecha, which diminishes that classic weighty feel of piloting something larger than yourself. On this topic of fluidity, look at this melee attack. The AC performs multiple overhand strikes, one forehand and the other backhand. This articulation of the arm part and laser blade looks far more human than traditional AC laser blade attacks, and we know from this shot of the assembly screen that melee combos can extend to at least 3 consecutive attacks. Historically in Armored Core games, blade attacks were a simple dash and swipe or thrust depending on the weapon, with fluid motion of the arm parts being severely limited by the bulk of the Armored Core. Despite having joints, these metal joints were crude and had limited range of motion, wholly unlike the flexibility of human joints. So between the turn speed and the new melee design, the mobility of our AC seems to behave more like a dude wearing a mecha skin than actually piloting a massive mech, which again is disappointing in a way, but it's also an incredible boost for the gameplay. These changes represent nothing new to the mecha genre. Look at Gundam, or even to some Armored Core titles. AC4 and 4 Answer abandoned much of that vehicle simulator feel, not only with the movement, but also by minimizing the HUD, which is a big part of feeling like you're in the cockpit of a craft. And though the melee combos weren't as accessible as we see them in this gameplay, the ability to dual wield opened up a melee combo system unique to that generation of games. I did multiple playthroughs of 4 Answer with Blader builds, including an SS rank playthrough, because of how much fun, albeit challenging, that new playstyle was. On the topic of those 4th gen games, let's move on to the next and biggest complaint I've seen, the hard lock-on. Despite being the most contentious of these changes in the community right now, I have the least to say about it. Lock-on has always been a part of Armored Core. It's not a Souls-like mechanic. The 4th gen games even had a rather forgettable auto-tracking feature that I never used because I liked the pilot fantasy with manual control of my craft. However, this demonstration of the 4th gen hard lock in 4 Answer has been floating around the subreddit. If you watch closely, you can tell the camera is tracking and facing the AC toward the locked target, but that lock is still easily broken by movement without additional facing inputs. You can see my personal footage here utilizing the same feature in Armored Core 4. Again, it slightly adjusts your facing, but it's easily breakable. I'm not saying that the lock-on in Armored Core 6 will be exactly like this, but maybe someone else can. In an IGN interview with one of the journalists that attended the Armored Core 6 demo event, the journalist states, "You shouldn't think of this as coming from Souls, but from Armored Core 4. The series so far has always had lock-on, and it's always been very demanding of the sticks. And the lockbox has always been really important, but auto-sighting in 4th gen brought in a hard lock, so it's not really a new thing, but something Souls got from Armored Core 4's auto-sighting. Thanks to Shift for posting this video with translation and transcript on YouTube. A link to the video will be in the description. This quote confirms that Armored Core 6 isn't getting a big scary Souls lock-on. It's getting a lock-on that's more appropriate for the franchise, and if it's much like the 4th gen lock, it may be optional to use as it was in those games. So don't use it if you don't like it. Everything is going to be fine, Ravens. This is not Armored Souls. The journalist did also make a point that I think needs to be reiterated before ending this part of the conversation. And that is the inherent interdependence between Souls games and the Armored Core games. Armored Core is what put FromSoft on the map and kept them growing as a studio for over 10 years before the first Souls game. And throughout that period, they were learning and perfecting design that would carry on into their Souls games. Continued iteration on those design principles is what kept FromSoft relevant through 10 years of Armored Core drought until finally achieving Game of the Year with Elden Ring. Souls design isn't killing Armored Core, it was born out of Armored Core. and now it's reviving the franchise a decade later. I could not be more happy about that. I understand why some veteran fans are hesitant to embrace these changes. It feels like so much of what was core to the franchise is changing, but that's not a bad thing. We shouldn't feel threatened by new design as if something is being taken away from us. The old Armored Core titles are outdated, but they also aren't going anywhere. Let's be real, Armored Core needs modernization, unless you want Armored Core 6 to be the last title in the franchise. If I'd never played Armored Core, and you asked me today if I wanted to play a game where you can lose money even if you pass a mission, that you can't redo a mission if you die, and that the model turn speed is equivalent to an 18-wheel cargo truck, I would swipe left in a heartbeat. Nostalgia counts for a lot, but it doesn't make a good game. FromSoft loves Armored Core at least as much as we do. We can trust them to make a good game. When have they ever failed to deliver on that? Even if we might be losing some of the fantasy that made me fall in love with Armored Core in the first place, I'm still super hyped for Armored Core 6. We can mourn changes to the things we love and still be excited for them. You don't resent a puppy for growing up, and you shouldn't resent the changes in Armored Core 6. While it may disappoint some veterans to see a bit of traditional design going away, you know what's better than traditional design? God-level gameplay. And that's what we pre-ordered.